Just a couple of road dogs.
Out back on Route 66, the open road.
Just a couple of wild hogs.
Looking for babes in trouble.
Gonna jump this jump?
Any babes up here?
Nope, only angels.
Only angels in air, baby.
Hi, Justin. Hello.
Vroom. I'm Dr. Vroom.
You're Dr. Vroom, and I'm Griffin, and we're playing The Crew.
Couldn't think of a sweet road dog name. Griffin?
Driving Griffin.
Driving
Car
Griffin.
Car Griffin.
Car Griffin.
We're playing The Crew, which came out this week, and
Did you get a lot of friend requests?
No.
Did you put your gamer tag in all these videos?
Well, I wish you hadn't pointed it out. Usually I just don't
Hard to
mention
miss.
Woof. Playing The Crew, which I don't know how much people watching this video are into the inside baseball, but like no game sites got, and so we're all experiencing it together in real time. And I've been playing it for review. I'm maybe...
I didn't know you were qualified to review a driving game. Are you?
Yeah, I'm really good at driving. Did you know I've never been in like a wreck and I've never like gotten a speeding ticket? I'm like super good at driving.
Okay.
So yeah, this is The Crew. I've played maybe about 20 hours of it now. I played a little bit of the beta, which I actually liked a lot. Which I know that was pretty divisive. And I gotta say, there's a lot about The Crew that I actually really like. And this is probably the best thing about it now that you're seeing, which is just the open world of the game is insane. It's like nothing I've ever seen before in a video game, as far as the scope and scale and variety and just like raw ambition of it. It's incredible. Like,
so I've been really interested about this. Like, how much of a parallel can you draw between like the Crew's world and our actual great country? Like,
that's the great thing. Like, really, there's only like 7 or 8 like major cities that they have done with the level of detail that I would say maybe like Watch Dogs gave Chicago or something along those lines, where you will see a lot of landmarks, a lot of stuff will look really familiar. In a lot of the ways, entire like states have been compressed into sort of regions. Like, for instance, Florida is just Miami for the most part. Like, the south part of Florida is just Miami.
that's pretty much, yeah.
It's pretty great.
Right.
Huntington, West Virginia, our home state, not in the mix, but there is an area just called Coal State. So
Coal State.
So you know what you're getting into when you're in Coal State. So like, no, you're
This
not
is gonna be like I drove to my house.
right. You're not going to drive to Frost Top and pick up some hot dogs, right? But
Whenever somebody invents an algorithm for like a driving game from Google Maps,
yeah,
like
that would
it's
be
gonna
huge. But I mean, it is still really neat that those areas have an identity. Like Coal State, for example, kind of has that Appalachian feel. Like you're driving through the hills, and the trees are all really, beautiful. Each territory sort of has its own look to it, and it also has its own feel. Like, a lot of Appalachia is dirt roads, so you want dirt cars with that can take the punishment of those roads and can take jumps. Like, that stuff is really cool. Another really cool thing is how the game handles progression. It's very much a racing game for like RPG enthusiasts who I think are maybe like have been flirting with the driving genre, because driving games have a lot of the same hooks that RPG games have in it, in terms of like materialism and like wanting to improve your shit. And The Crew handles that in a really streamlined way. Basically, wow, I'm really knocking out of the park here. By doing these missions, like this checkpoint race I'm doing right now, or just like finding these different skill challenges on the road, you will find parts that will increase your car level. And so you have just like a very simple, very basic way of understanding, like, my car is getting better if I equip this part. And it's so much more parsable than like having to break down like how it handles your weight reduction and how it handles your airflow. It's just bang, car level, +3, go for it.
So do you own a lot of different cars, or you just have the one? Or
I don't own a lot of different cars. So there are 5 different kits that you can upgrade most of your cars with. Some cars are only applicable with most kits. Like, this is my raid spec car, which means it's good for mountain climbing, essentially. You can throw it off of hills, and it can, survive the fall. Right now I'm in the mountain states, and a lot of the mountain states are basically this, like, so there's not a lot of roads, and so you need a good raid spec car to go for it. So that, like, feel is completely different from the performance spec cars, which are designed to be driven at like 180 miles an hour down a highway, or on like actual race circuits, or street spec cars, which are designed to be mainly used for street races or, you know, cop escapes in cities and stuff like that. Essentially, with those 5 specializations, you can take your cars in a lot of different directions, and the game has a different feel. Cars are actually kind of hard to purchase on their own because they're really expensive, and it takes a lot of money and a lot of time to earn that money to buy those cars, but there is a secondary currency that you can buy with real Earth money that you can also purchase the cars with, so don't worry.
That's just
about
what
that.
I was hoping you would say about this.
Don't worry about that for a second. But each like different spec in each car like has a really nice.
How do you change cars?
You can actually just do it like while you're driving. Yeah, it's really there's a lot of stuff like that that's really streamlined, really simple. A lot of like the game is smart in that way. The racing, the driving, all actually feels pretty great. The customization is really great. The open world is really great. Now we're getting into like the snickle fritz, and that is. I don't know how to describe. I'm still working on a way to describe my problem with the crew, and I think the biggest problem is that it seems like they just didn't program in how to make cars collide with anything. Like, this is a mission that is specifically about colliding your car with another car, and it's just really bad. Like, it's really, really bad. Here I've just sort of gotten in front of the car, and he's just going to keep going straight forward. I'm trying to wreck him.
It looks like he's trying to dare you into doing something. Go on.
Right.
Go on, wuss. Hit the flagpole. Oh, you hit the flagpole, jerk.
In a lot of missions like this, and certain missions where you have to escape from
So
cops.
that's your target?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. In a lot of missions like this, and a lot of missions where you have to escape from cops, the car that you are trying to either escape or take down outperforms yours to a degree that is laughable. Like right now, he can turn a corner going like way faster than I can. He can come to a dead stop way faster than I can. He can like pick up 60 miles an hour of speed in like the blink of an eye, inexplicably. Just gonna keep going right back to retry town. And once he gets away from me, there's no way that I can catch up. I have to restart. It is infuriating. It's miserable. Like every single one of these missions, and there's a lot of them, is so the opposite of fun. Basically,
now, is it one of those situations though where you're just not ready for it? Like
no. Because that's the thing. Because of the car level system, you have a really easy way of knowing how you match up against any particular challenge. This one is, you know, right in my wheelhouse. Oh, and here's another great thing, and here's the thing that the game does all the time that's just, like, terrible. It's such a horrible idea. In maybe 1/3 of the missions, including this one, you get out of your car and just hop into another car that's, like, on the street, I guess, waiting for you to do crime with it. So there's a car that you've never driven before. You don't know how it feels. And all of the work that you may have put into, you know, upgrading your other car, it's just like, there's no point for it. And a lot of the times the loaner cars you get are for missions like this because it has to be, I guess, like perfectly balanced so that you can't catch up to this car too quickly.
Is this a loaner car?
Yeah, there's a loaner car. And that guy just like blew my doors just there. Like there's no catching up to it except for these like 3 or 4 sort of like choke points where the car just decides to slow down and maybe you'll be able to catch up to it. But if you miss it on one of those choke points, you might as well start over. It's so unsatisfying. And that also kind of carries over into races. Like, the feel of driving a car and taking over somebody is really great. Like, there he just decided to slow down and let you have him. Nice, thanks. It's really great, like, the feel of a car in a race. But there is no, like... it's really hard to, like, pull off a takedown, right? Like, it's really hard to touch a car and drive it into a tree or something and make it crash. Nope, that didn't work. And that's fine. Like a lot of racing games aren't about like colliding with cars and wrecking them and getting ahead that way. But like I don't know, so many of these races are in tight quarters, but cars are almost like magnetically opposed to touching you. sometimes like and just collisions in general are just so inconsistent. Sometimes you'll get into a head-on collision with another car going like 180 miles an hour and you'll just sort of nudge past them. Sometimes you'll like hit a curb going like 15 miles an hour and it will send you fishtailing for 4 hours. Like it's so inconsistent. This is another one of those. This is an escape mission. Another one of this game's like horrible weak points. Because again, like the cars feel like they've been imported in from another racing game. Like this will happen sometimes when you're just like driving on the road and you cause too much destruction and cops will come after you. Cops will like drive sideways to take you out. These cars are capable of coming to a complete stop in like 4 feet if you're behind them and bringing you to a dead halt, and that's how they arrest you. It's like so not fun. The only way that you can they can take like hairpin turns at 200 miles an hour. They can catch up to you. It's like, it's not rubber banding. It's like they have like bungee cords attached to your car, and like every time you get away from the cops or from these missions where you're getting away from another faction that's trying to take you out, it always happens by like dead luck, like pure chance. There is no like tactics to it, because again, you can't really take them out. There's no consistency to those collisions, and a lot of the see here, I just made 2 head-on collisions and just sort of phased to the left and right of these different cars. There's no like consistent way to take these cars out. They can make turns way better than you. They're faster than you. They're better than you in every way. Your only hope is that like they get held up on like one of their own roadblocks. It's a nightmare. Like it's super not fun. And this is maybe a third, if I'm being generous, of the game's missions are these, and it's just miserable.
So are there cops?
There are cops.
Coburn's men.
These are Coburn's men. They're trying to take me down.
How do they have a police blockade up?
That's just a dude blockade. Sometimes those will just teleport in front of you. Sometimes cop cars will just teleport in front of you. So when you finally get away from those guys, don't worry about it. They can just cheat. And there he just came to a dead halt.
Look at that!
Okay.
That's BS.
Okay, so this is important too. X will back you out of the mission chain that you've been doing for 20 minutes. Square is the button you have to hit if you want to redo this last part of the mission. If you hit X, this is step 3 in a mission chain that I've been working on for maybe 25 minutes, because that takedown mission took me a lot of tries to do. So if you hit X, you will back out to the map, and you will have to do this whole thing over if you want to try it again. It's like terrible, dog. It's like
crazy.
Really bad. So
That's
like,
crazy.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, I have loved driving around and doing those sort of event challenges that you just sort of find across the road that you can do as you're driving from point A to point B. And when the game just has you like doing that and exploring and doing like honest to God races or like checkpoint races, like it's really good and it's really satisfying and it's rewarding and simple in a way that I think I've like wanted a lot of open world racing games to be. But some of the shit, namely just like collisions and every mission that like involves them, is so like laughably unfinished. Like it really soils a lot of the rest of the game. It's really disappointing because like if they had just focused on the really incredible, impressive, inspired shit that they have done with the game, I think it would have been a lot better off. But this
I'm
is
assuming you like pretty much have to do these, right?
Oh yeah. In order to move forward with the story and you know, earn.
What a fine story it is, I'm sure.
Oh my god, it's really rough. Which is fine. Like I'm so willing to like not worry about it because for me the story is.
Where are you right now? Is this
And dead
California?
stop again. No, this is like Miami. Dead stop. Oh, guess what I did?
Press X.
Press the goddamn X button.
Wow.
Make
That's
that the
rough.
circle button. Like, oh man. So this is me just like attempting harikari because I'm just so angry. This seems like a pretty good way to stop the video. This is the crew. A lot of it's really good. Hopefully they can patch in better collisions and make the servers a little bit more reliable because that's also been a little bit rough. But I just wait for my review. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet.